screenshots from commercial equipment, it's better. Okay, it looks more professional. I have done this because, well, and that's fine. Okay, but if I have to decide, okay, what do I want, this one or that one? Yeah, I go for this one because it looks nicer. It doesn't mean that it's correct, so there are mistakes, but this is nicer. Anyway, just think about it. But I have to point out the mistakes here. Okay, so you selected a refrigeration tower, an air chiller. This is air chiller, by the way. So this is an air-cooled chiller. That's why it's on the top of the building, on the roof. And then we have the pellet boilers here, a pellet boiler. Okay, so there's something wrong. So first, the pellet boiler is connected to the heating coil of the air handling unit. I think NOAA has another option that it's fine, but if we are working with this option, there's something wrong here. Okay, let me copy this because this is in the middle between two options. So I will let you know how to work with both options because there's something wrong. So first, the pellet boiler, it has to be connected to the heating coil. Okay, and if we could have the same color, that would be better. And then this is a different color. Go this way. Out here. Okay. And well, another thing that is important, usually we have this code, this drawing code. So we need arrows. So we need to go where the water flow goes, or yeah. So we need arrows. But then for the, this is the supply. We always have the supply and we always have a return. So for the return, we usually use the dashed line. Okay, so this is something that everybody will understand. Everybody. In different countries, because sometimes we don't have the ability to print in color, and if we print in black and white, if there are two, if there's not a big difference between these two colors, nobody understands where the supply and the return is. But if we have a dashed line for the return, everybody understands this. Okay, so first the pellet boiler has to be connected to the heating coil of the air handling unit. And then the pellet boiler needs exhaust gas pipe. Okay, so we need to get rid of the smoke, and to make it clearer, I think we should have an arrow, an ugly black arrow, just to get rid of it. Okay, so we need to get rid of the gases, and we need to connect water pipes to the heating coil. So this is the heating system. With this, we have the heating system. But now you have mixed up concepts here. We need a refrigeration tower when we have a water-cooled chiller, but this is an air-cooled chiller, okay? So it's correct, you can have an air-cooled chiller. Okay, but then this chiller has to be connected to the chilling coil. Okay, and we need the same color. Where's that color? Well, that one. And if this is the supply and this is the return, we should use the dashed line. Okay. And we don't need the refrigeration tower. We just have an air intake here. We have the heat recovery, and then the air goes either through the chilling coil or through the heating coil, and then it goes into the building, and then it returns. Okay, so that's correct. If we need a refrigeration tower, then we can copy this because it's going to be the same. The pellet boiler and all this. So we don't need this, that. Okay. So we have the same thing. We have this connected to the heating coil. Okay, I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to place this here. Okay, so we get rid of this, and now we move this way. There you go. Why am I doing this? Because I don't want to interfere with the cooling circuit. We don't have an air cooled chiller. We have this one. Okay, so I borrow this from Noah. There you go. And now there are two circuits. We have to connect this here, and then there's another one here. There you go. And if this is a return and supply, so the return can be a dashed line, and this can be a dashed line. Okay, so now we connect the chiller to the chilling coil, and the other part of the chiller, these two pipes, have to be connected to the refrigeration tower. So we can copy all these. So we have to go up. There you go. And the refrigeration tower is not connected at all to the air handling unit. Okay, so either this or this are correct. But you are mixing up things, so you can't connect the air chiller. When you have an air chiller, you don't have a cooling tower. And when you have these kind of chillers, the water chiller, then you need a cooling tower. But both are connected to the cooling coil or the chilling coil of the air handling unit. And then we need to connect the heating coil to the boiler. Okay? So Aidan, you have to fix this. And then this. Okay, this is not correct because we are using the air handling unit for heating and cooling. Okay, so everything has to be connected to the heating and cooling coils of the air handling unit. So here you have the air supply, that's correct. And this is not the ground source heat pump. The ground source heat pump, it's a device that will be somewhere. Okay, this is the ground source, we can have boreholes or loop. Okay, so this is buried. So if we bury this, okay, so these boreholes or this closed loop is connected to what? This is connected to the ground source heat pump. Okay, this is the ground source heat pump. And now the ground source heat pump is connected either to the heating coil or the cooling coil. Okay, so in winter, the heating coil will be working. In summer, the cooling coil will be working. And these ground source boreholes will be providing the ground source heat pump with cool or heat, depending on the season. And finally, we need this as well. Okay, we have to avoid this because it's confusing. But well, it's a question of organizing the drawing so that we don't have these intersections here because it's confusing. But now it makes sense because this is not the heat pump. These are the boreholes. So this is the closed loop. Then we have the device. This is the ground source heat pump. This is connected to the air handling unit. And then we have the airflow, the supply and the return airflow here. And we can do the same here with dash. Okay. So now this is better. So we have this option. This is feasible. We have this option. It works. Okay. And we have this option. And we have everything. We have heating, cooling, and ventilation. And this is what we need in a building. Here, the heating is through the boiler. The cooling is through the chiller. And the air handling unit ventilates, but heats and cools the thing. Okay. So we have heating, cooling, and ventilation. Okay, so I then fix it and submit it again. And what about Noah? Okay, this is correct. So we have to connect these to the air handling unit. You have 3 of them. Okay. You have 1 cooling tower. Okay. We need arrows here. So I assume that if you have the pump here, the water pump here, it's a good thing that you have added the water pump. But we would need like an arrow or okay, to understand that the flow is going this way. And now for this one, another piece of advice, never, never, never use yellow in something that can be projected, because the yellow, it doesn't show up when you project this in a projector with a screen. Okay, so do not use yellow because it doesn't work in presentations. So I'd rather use this. So it's better using this dashed line for this. So for that one, again, we need an arrow here, and that would be dashed because it's the return. Okay, so there's something interesting. Noah, are you there?
Yeah.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Why do you have this element here, this horizontal line here?
I thought you kind of had to like cap it off on the top.
But did I ever mention that, or did you make it up,
No,
or do you think it's a good
that's kind of
solution?
like in my own research.
Okay. No, because it makes sense. Okay. I haven't explained that. So if I mean, if you had followed my instructions, you should have done this. Okay. So we need this, and then we can split this into three horizontal circuits. So that's fine. I mean, this is correct, but we need to know why we are doing this. Okay. So, um, for example, I think this is mandatory. Having this cap, connecting this supply and return, it's something mandatory in the Spanish building code, but it's not allowed in the American building code. Okay, why? I will go over this later because what do we want to save here? If we want to save water, we need to recirculate this. If we want to save energy, probably we won't have to do that. So in Spain, we don't have water nor energy, so we have to save both. In the United States, you have plenty of water, so you don't need to save water because it rains a lot and rivers are huge and there are a lot of lakes and that. So water is not a concern there. Energy is. By doing this, you yeah, probably you spend more water. Anyway, so we have this concern. I mean, it's not bad, but depending on where we are, we have to do this or we don't have to do it. Okay, so I think I would do it, but we need to know why. So when we are talking about piping systems, I will go over this. But anyway, I just wanted to ask you if this is something that you have made up or you have looked at other schematic drawings. Okay, but keep it. But when we are talking about the piping systems, we will go over these kind of things.
Everything.
Okay, and now you have connected the pellets boiler to the buffer tank. That's correct, and you have included this. It wasn't again. You are beyond what I expected, but that's correct. Okay, so you have connected this to the water tank. This is the shower, and then you have the heating system there. So everything's correct because you have cooling the system with the chiller and this. You have ventilation with the air handling units, and you have a heating system with the pellets boiler, the buffer tank, and you have heating system and domestic hot water. You have both, okay? And you have radiators. Okay, can be. But if you want to solve this exercise, okay, because this is what we were. Okay, let's place this here. If you want to abide by the statement, so you have to connect the heating system to the heating coil of the air handling unit. So we can do that. And we need another vertical. And another here. So now again, do we need to close this loop or we don't? Okay, let's say that we are not closing it. And this is, no, this is the return. So we'll make it bigger. So you have to connect this here. And then we need the supply. And that should be red. There you go. Okay, so this is what we well, that is what is written here. So we need to use the heating coil and the cooling coil of the air handling unit. What you did is correct, so it's not wrong, but this is what I was asking now. Okay, and you included the domestic hot water, and that's good. And you included the water pumps, but we need this here as well. Okay, so every time we have a circuit, we need a water pump. So we need to pump water to the shower, and we need to pump water to the air handling unit, and then it returns to the, and again, I don't know, I would do this reddish and dashed. Yeah, it looks better now. And then here you have something, it's not, so you have to look at items. Okay, so we need the boreholes here, we need the ground source heat pump, and we need to connect this to the cooling and heating coils. I didn't understand what this is. This is cooling summer and winter. You divided the house. It's we only have one heat pump, okay? So we don't have two. In this case, I can assume that we have two different heat pumps, and it doesn't make any sense. Maybe this is not what you want to explain here, but this is what I can understand, that we have two different heat pumps, and no, we only have a heat pump for winter and summer. And then this is not here. I understand that we have air ducts, and from the heat pump we have air, and it doesn't happen. So we need to connect the heat pump to the air handling unit, and then from the air handling unit we have supply and return air. Okay, so you have to fix it. But I mean, I appreciate that you have done this effort, because well, there are mistakes, so I point out the mistakes, but there are good things, and others should look at this and see that well, there are other schematics. Some of them have mistakes, some of them are better than those, but I want you to look at this. So if you have something that it's wrong, you can look at those and you can copy those, and or if you haven't even started, you can start by copying this. But it's very important that by the end of this week, all of you have submitted the schematics so that I can point out the mistakes. And then if you're already done with this, try to work with the Excel file and try to work with the table and with the graphic. Okay, so I'm going to go over this. I'm going to fix that mistake for the enthalpy, and then I will post that Excel file on Canvas so that you can work with it.